Good morning, good morning. I'm coming to you this morning to give a retraction and an update. Yes, a retraction. Imagine that. Responsible people with integrity will admit when they're wrong, and they'll just come right out and say it. It isn't but a thing, and that's the way I look at making mistakes. It's nothing but a thing. Take note of that, prepper channels. So, I had stated last night during the live show that I did not think that Xi Jinping would meet with Antony Blinken. I thought, and I figured he was just going to give him the cold shoulder, kind of try to brush him off, at least for this particular visit, and I was wrong. And so I'm retracting that statement. I was absolutely 100% wrong. Apparently, Xi Jinping did meet with Antony Blinken, and that's the article that we are going to discuss. This is a very, very important thing. This is something that all of our eyes need to be watching, because the impact of worsening relations with China would be felt across the planet on a level, I believe, pretty unimaginable. So let's go on to the article. It says the title, I'll leave a link in the description as always, Future of Humanity Depends on China-U.S. Relations, says Xi. Article goes on and says, stable relations between China and the U.S. are vital for the international community, which doesn't want to choose sides between the two countries, Chinese President Xi Jinping said during a meeting with U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Beijing on Monday. And that's absolutely correct. I think that there are a lot of lessons learned with this Russia-Ukraine conflict. And I think there are a lot of nations and their citizens as well put in some very tough positions as a result of the sanctions that were put on Russia. The citizens and industry and everything else took a massive hit in these areas because they relied on Russian energy. And in some cases, that energy is no longer coming in, and in other cases, it's coming in, but at a much more expensive cost. So even the Russia-Ukraine conflict has taken a huge toll on the world, the planet. A conflict between China and the United States would absolutely dwarf that. I mean, it would be so bad around the world because so many nations rely on China for their everyday general goods, including things like medicine. And these are all things that we should have, taken what we learned starting in 2019 with the COVID epidemic and the supply chain issues, and we should have started a bunch of manufacturing in the United States, namely of medications, but we didn't do nothing. Our leaders, our government, didn't do anything, and for the most part, the people didn't do anything. So I'm not saying that people didn't try. I'm saying people apparently didn't succeed if they did try. There's big difference in succeeding and trying. And when you're involved, the government, sometimes it doesn't matter how hard you try. It doesn't matter how good you do, because it's always going to go with somebody that they know before they're going to go with somebody that just does a good job. That's how that works. So anyway, like I said, and I'm a little bit off topic, but we'd be put in really, really bad positions, and not just us, but pretty much the planet. Goes on to say planet Earth is big enough to accommodate the respective development and common prosperity of China and the U.S., Xi told Blinken, according to a statement by the Chinese Foreign Ministry. Well, that's true. But that's only true for nations that are interested in having an equal shared part in something. And that is not how the United States works. The United States wants total control. I mean, that's pretty much what it boils down to. The United States as a nation is very narcissistic and authoritarian. I know I said that wrong, but they are. They just want to be dictators. And I think that's very clear. And I'm speaking about the government. There's actually a lot of the citizens that do too. They want to run around being everybody else's personal dictators. You know, our government is derived of us. So when you put trash in, you're going to get trash out. So that is what that amounts to. Maybe we ought to focus on putting not so much trash in and demanding no trash out. But for that, you have to be engaged. For that, it would literally take decades at a minimum. It would take several decades at a minimum. If we started today, rooted out all the evil in our government, it would take decades to turn stuff around. No easy way up from where we are. Goes on to say the Chinese leader said that the world is interested in a generally stable ties between Beijing and Washington because whether the two countries can find the right way to get along bears on the future and destiny of humanity. Pretty fair statement, actually on several levels. Not all good, not all bad. The international community expects China and the U.S. to coexist in peace and have friendly and cooperative relations and doesn't want to choose sides in the event of a conflict, Xi stated. And again, he's correct. The Chinese president argued that competition with Beijing would not help Washington to solve America's domestic problems or the challenges currently facing the world. China respects U.S. interests and does not seek to challenge or displace the U.S., Xi stressed, adding that Beijing expects the same approach from the Biden administration. You know, equality, not equity, but equality. Big difference. Xi called on the U.S. to adopt a rational and pragmatic attitude towards China and to jointly work on improving ties and making the global situation more stable. See, the United States, they're not looking for equality, neither at home nor abroad. They're looking for equity at home and abroad. And I don't think they're going to get it either place. Let's make damn sure of that they don't get it either place. Goes on to say, a Chinese foreign ministry said that Blinken had assured Xi during their 35-minute talk that the U.S. does not seek conflict or a new Cold War with Beijing and has no intention of trying to change China's political system. Washington expects to continue high-level engagement with Beijing while keeping lines of communication open and managing differences responsibly, the top U.S. diplomat said, according to the Chinese statement. And then it goes on to past, lastly it says here, a 2-day visit by Blinken also included a meeting with Beijing's top diplomat Wang Yi earlier on Monday, as well as talks with Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang on Sunday. And I'm sure I'm saying those names wrong, not intentionally, but so this is something that we really want to keep a close eye on. It could really, really, really go south. And I mean, the meetings are all but over with, but I mean, we just really, really need to kind of keep an eye on this. The world would be in a world of hurt, pun intended, I guess, if something serious happened between China and the U.S. So, anyway, I wanted to make sure to get out in front and let everybody that I was incorrect last night in my assumption. Oh well. And give you an update on this situation since it is a very vital, important piece of the puzzle. So anyway, hope to see you later on for the live show. Gonna get ready here in a minute and go finish up the bike trailer. And I shall see you all tonight. Thanks for watching. Shalom.